received copies of this. I just wanted to review it so that the public is aware. The first grant that we were approved for through IDEQ is $750,000, and it's ARPA funds. And they have designated it for overruns on our existing loan because they have seen what's happening to everybody with bids coming in. So I suppose they have some kind of an average calculation of what overages are. Then we also have another $393,215 that has been approved. And I believe that this one would be associated with the new LOI that was just approved. Nonetheless, if we were to use all of the money, which means the total amount of our loan plus the 750 and the 393, we would still only have to bond for an additional 556. But the way it looks with, I don't think we ever have to consider an additional bond with what our figures should look like. So that is really good news, and we still have, if you recall, we have the one that has taken so long. You and I just talked about.
Oh, the Navy?
The Navy?
No.
Maybe it was
Jesse?
DCIP.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Bob, it's the one that we were notified last year that we had been approved and we should,
Oh, the Army Corps.
Army Corps. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, so we have lots of dollars coming in.
We don't know the quantity of that money though.
Pardon?
On the Army fund? that you're talking about?
Oh, on the Army, we don't. And I have not seen any of that since I've been here, so I really don't know how their amounts run. Do you, Bob?
No, I don't, I haven't seen any, in fact, we haven't talked about it before.
Kyle
Yeah,
said he was
that's
gonna
mine.
reach out to them as well.
Try and get some,
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't know. And then, of course, on top of that, we have the $900,000 from the Navy. So it's really looking good. Our ratepayers should be
Now-
blessed here. They should have very little increases when this is all said and done.
Does any of that, is any of that reflected in the forgiveness? Loan forgiveness?
Only the portion of the LOI and, but the ARPA and all those would just be, we're receiving those grants and then we wouldn't have to borrow those dollars. But they're not reflected in the forgiveness amount.
Yeah, so actually, if we were, it's kind of tricky because if we will get those grant dollars, so say the 750, we have $98,000 roughly of forgiveness on our SRF loan, our 3.4 million SRF loan. But that is applied to the dollars you use. So
From the
by,
loan?
yeah, the
Okay.
money we borrow. So consequently, that will go down because we will be using more grant dollars. But
Yeah.
if we used all of it, we would get 98. Okay. All right. So, does anybody have any questions about,
I do.
all right, you go ahead.
Well, it's concerning, ARPA and the grant funds. In the wording, I get a little skittish with the wording that they used with, that was not forgiveness, but it was like over and above. Can you flip to that page for the for the
Mhm.
7.
Oh, the emails from,
It's
the
meant,
EQ.
it's meant for,
Overruns and.
overruns, yes, so an overrun in my mind, and please correct me if I'm wrong, an overrun is where we planned for and then because of inflation, the cost is just a little bit more, so it's outside of the cap that we got for the loans, so it's saying we will cover that overrun which is above. Well, if they give us $10 million and we're gonna spend 3.4 on the loan, but now we're gonna need 3.8, our overrun is really 0.2, so they would only, in my mind, how I'm thinking of an overrun, by them saying I'm gonna use the money, we can only use it for overruns. Am I wrong? Am I thinking of that incorrectly? Is this something that, am I bringing up to everybody's attention that maybe this is how we really look at it? Because if it is only for an overrun, we can't just use the money for anything that the project entails.
Do you have any insight into that?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just the overrun,
That's the wording.
Yeah.
it's the wording that scares me in which, yeah, we got all this money for you for overruns.
Yeah.
But
It's a bit
what if we don't overrun? We don't get any of the money? Because I would rather use that money first, if we can, obviously.
I think we're gonna overrun, as I mentioned, another big project in the area, the bids came back double, the original, double. So I don't think it'll be an issue whether or not there's gonna be overruns.
But if that were the case, then our 3.4 most likely, and I'm just guessing, I don't want anybody to quote me on this, but okay, we're gonna be looking at 5 million. So our overrun would be 1.6. We would still have to pay that 3.4. We would just now have all the money to keep us from
Right.
having to put everybody's bill up
Yeah.
Right.
an extra amount. I want
What we're
clarity.
gonna wanna do is prioritize these,
Oh, absolutely.
because we don't wanna spend all the money up front on something that's not absolutely positively necessary today. Wanna make sure we get those absolutely positively projects covered, and we can spend until we run out of money. Once we run out of money, we're done.
Well, and then that's gonna then get into the project with the engineers to make sure that we're bidding in first come, first need for what we are trying to do to make our district up to snuff, because we have pressure problems and things like that, which we're trying to fix, which are more important than just, hey, we wanna get a leaky valve and change all the leaky valves.
At our last meeting, our engineers told us that we would have these funds to spend first before we got into our bond money.
If that's the case, then I'm just gonna shut up, because I.
Now, is that right or wrong?
I'm not
Maybe
sure,
we need to
DEQ was having a meeting with a bunch of engineers and people to clarify some of this, and I think that meeting was today.
I might not be the only person asking this question.
No,
What-
there
that
was
was
a lot of
today.
questions about it, and it was gonna be a Zoom meeting, or not on Zoom, but Microsoft, whatever.
Online.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Remote.
Meeting.
But I think the dust will clear on this probably by the end of next week, and everybody will have a better understanding of what you can do and can't do with the monies.
Yeah, that's a
That in
big
my
difference.
Yeah.
It is, so.
My impression of what he said was that money went first.
I got the
That's
same
what we-
impression, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we want.
well, and
Before
you
we
would
got into
think
the
that
bond money.
IDEQ
What-
would want it that way because they have all these funds available for these projects, but I guess right now we don't know.
Okay, well, we don't
But-
know then.
Yeah, Kyle is.
No, not for sure.
I put it out there, so.
I mean, all this is good. It's gonna help us.
Well, it doesn't help us if we just take that money and,
Right.
But things have changed so much since we originally looked at this project until today in terms of cost.
Yeah.
And it's going, the 8-point-something inflation that we're hearing, nowhere near the inflation we're seeing on these types of projects. It's not unusual to see 100% more money to do something today than it was last year.
Yep.
And I've seen this more than just once, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll be asking.
Common thread.
I can even send
Okay.
a question to our engineers.
Well, that doesn't help the community.
Nope.
Well, if
Well,
we
it
have to
can.
use the 3.4,
Yeah,
but
It can.
we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's is free money, if there is such a thing. By the time you fill out all the paperwork and everything, nothing's free, but.
Going into this, and tell me to shush if I talk too much. We're trying to get that 3.4 down. That's really what we want, so the community doesn't have a huge tacked onto their bill. But if we're gonna be spending 3.4 regardless, and then all this free money's gonna come in to keep it at 3.4, well, I guess that's okay, because we agreed that we'd do 3.4, so.
Well, you have to consider the 900,000 off that.
Yes, it's
That's
not
the biggest
all-
difference right there, is the Navy money.
It's
And,
not all gonna
um,
be overrun.
Jesse did receive something from Cheryl this morning. I think they're getting ready to do that from
Yeah.
what, I didn't go to that meeting that they had with Glennis, but evidently